All right, well, my clock is showing 5:32 here, so let's go on and get things started. First off, good evening and welcome. We are so excited to have you here tonight to learn a little bit more about our online graduate business programs at Northern Illinois University. My name is Anna Richardson, and I am the Director of Online Learning here at NIU. I truly hope that you'll find tonight's event helpful in both learning more about our online program offerings in the College of Business, as well as from hearing directly from some of our current students in these programs. So a few quick housekeeping items. It is important to note this meeting is being recorded. If you experience any audio issues, you can check your speakers. You can check which speakers on your device you're using by clicking the arrow next to the mute/unmute buttons. This is also where you can check your volume settings. So if these options aren't working for you, you also have the option to use your phone to dial into the event. If you'd like to turn on captioning, that is also an option. There's a caption button on the bottom bar of your screen. So here's a quick overview of some of the important Zoom tools you have at your fingertips this evening. Important to note, please keep your microphones muted and your cameras off, at least for the time being. However, as we move through tonight, feel free to use the chat function to ask any questions that may come up as we move through our agenda. We do have our Office of Online Learning team here to answer those questions for you in real time. Later on tonight, we'll be moving into breakout rooms, and the More button that you see there that has the 3 dots is where you'll be able to find those rooms if they don't automatically populate for you. So as advertised, all of tonight's attendees will be eligible for an application fee waiver for the spring 2024 semester. That is a total $60 value. Also, all of those attendees that apply and move forward with the program this spring will also be eligible for a course fee waiver for one prerequisite course module that you're still in need of. These are located in Blackboard, and each course is a $200 value. So to use those benefits, please send me an email directly at aprichardson@niu.edu, and I'll walk you through those next steps on how to redeem those. I'll also plan on hanging around a few minutes at the end in this main room, so feel free to come back at the end if you have additional questions or if you want to chat about anything. So for tonight's agenda, we'll kick things off with a big College of Business welcome before transitioning over to the student panel. I do ask, again, that for these first 2 pieces, you remain muted with your cameras off. Once we then transition into the programmatic breakout rooms, you're absolutely more than welcome to turn those cameras back on and unmute yourselves. So now I'll go ahead and turn things over to the Dean for the College of Business, Dr. Denise Shane-Bachler. Thanks for being here tonight, Denise Shane-Bachler.
Hey, thank you, Anna, and thank you all for being here tonight. It really is a privilege for me to be here and to share just a few thoughts with you about NIU's College of Business, but more importantly, to congratulate you as prospective students in our programs. You've made a great choice. Just being here tonight, listening to the programs, learning more about them, and giving some thought to investing in yourself, because that's really what a graduate program is all about. It's investing in yourself in terms of time, financial investment, but investing in your future. And I can tell you that of the thousands of graduate students that I've met with that have gone through one of NIU's programs, whether face-to-face or the online programs like the ones we're exploring tonight, I haven't talked to a single graduate student who has said, I wish I had waited longer. I wish I'd taken a couple more semesters before I got started. And so to all of you that are here tonight learning more about our programs, again, you made the first step by coming here tonight and learning about the programs. And I do encourage you to take the next step when you're done tonight of getting that application in. As Anna said, if you're here tonight, there's a waiver on the fee for that. You have nothing to lose in taking that next step and investing in yourself. So that's why you should do a graduate program. But why NIU and why NIU's College of Business? There's a couple of things I'd like to highlight here. The first is We are AACSB accredited. And that may or may not mean a whole lot to you, but I will tell you that it is the hallmark and it is a indicator of extremely high quality in a business school. All business schools will tell you they're accredited, but the question is it AACSB accredited, which guarantees that the program quality is extremely high and we're reviewed and evaluated continuously, which means for you as a graduate student, when you're done, you've had an opportunity to learn and be at the forefront of education, regardless of which program you're considering tonight. The other real advantage to our NIU business programs and our online programs in particular is the amount of support that you get and help along the way. So just look at the number of people that are here tonight to be with you just to talk about the programs. And I promise you that along the way and along your journey, these individuals will be there for you. Your faculty, the professors that teach in this program are highly committed to our online students and to an exceptional education. Take advantage of that and be a part of that. The third real advantage to considering or coming to our program, our graduate program, is you get to be an NIU Husky. You get to become part of an incredible network of alumni, a network of faculty and staff that goes back a long way and is highly committed to us. And so that's something that we strive to do, again, with our online programs, is give you opportunities to engage and interact with alumni, with other students, with faculty, so you start to build that network that can help you have success in your program. I just want to thank you all for being here tonight. I want to again congratulate you on making a great decision, even investing an hour in yourself tonight. And I do hope that after this evening's over, that you're excited, you're enthused, you're motivated, and you have that confidence in yourself that you can be successful in our online program, whichever one that you're pursuing tonight. Anna, thank you for inviting me to be here this evening and to share a few words about NIU's College of Business. Go Huskies.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that warm welcome, Dr. Shane Bachler. So next up, we are absolutely thrilled to have some of our current students here tonight with us to share a little bit about their experiences in these programs. So we have Lorenzo Velasquez Carlos here representing our online MBA program. We have Tina Ramos here from our MS in Data Analytics program, and Devin Stone from our MS in Digital Marketing program. Let's bring them up and spotlight them.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hello. All right, excellent. So I have a series of questions to ask you all. I'll ask each of them, and then we'll just kind of go through one by one, for each of you to have the opportunity to answer. So the first question for you all, what made you decide on the MSDM, MBA, or MSDA program here at NIU? Let's start with, I'm just going to go this way through my screen, so let's start with Lorenzo.
That's a great question, Anna. So the flexibility was a big thing for me. The online portion of it was absolutely the right choice for myself. I started the NIU MBA program there in Chicago, and I really loved Chicago. I'd been living there for 7 years with my current company as well. They had moved me to Chicago from Atlanta, and I knew I was close to a next promotion. I knew that I would be coming up close because I'd been passed over a few times. And one of the reasons why I was passed over a few times was because I didn't have my MBA. So, and I didn't have a business background either as in my education. I got my bachelor's in biology. So there was a couple of things that the VPs had said that was going against me. So I knew that I needed to start my MBA program and I needed to be flexible. So why not NIU? The president of my company went to NIU and loved NIU. So she's had nothing but great things to say about NIU. So I started it, and immediately the first semester that I got into the MBA, they recognized this. The VPs and the presidents recognized it. They promoted me and actually sent me down to Texas. So that was the absolute right move for me to make, because I could do my online MBA classes via Texas, and that's where I reside at the moment. And I'm almost finishing the program. I graduate in December here, and I'm really excited because they're also saying that I'm up for another promotion. So as Dr. Shane Bachler said, it is an investment in yourself, and I'm really happy that I started it when I did. And yeah, that's my story. Thanks.
That's great, Lorenzo. Thanks. And congratulations. Full steam ahead, right? Exciting things are on the horizon for you. That's great. Tina?
So I actually started this journey last fall. So I was actually in undergrad at NIU, and I was doing a passport event with my advisor, and it was with a guy from Microsoft, and he was talking about blockchain and things like that, and it seemed really interesting to me. And the next day I went and told him he needs to tell me about the MSBA program because I think it sounds amazing. So that's how I got started with it. But I graduate in May, so I have one semester left. And all of the classes that I've taken so far have been amazing. And I feel like I've learned so much. The formatting of each class is so, I want to say, simplistic, because you have 10 modules and you cover a lot, but it's been very rewarding.
Excellent. Thanks, Tina. You'll be a two-time Husky alum. That's great. And Devin?
Everybody. So I had a little bit of a weird kind of upbringing to get to this point. So my undergrad is similar to you, Lorenzo. I have an undergrad degree in biomedical engineering, and clearly that's not marketing or business. So I decided to do some soul searching pre and middle of pandemic, and I realized biomedical engineering wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. And I eventually circled around the idea of marketing, and I wanted to find a program that allowed me to work full time still. And I'm also very busy. I'm a musician, so sometimes I do touring. I do a lot of other things on the side. So I wanted to be able to get that education while still doing other things and not having to completely drop one or the other. And that's how I found NIU's program. And I'm only about 45 minutes away from campus too. So I finally got to actually make a nice little visit in person recently. And I'm going to be done in a matter of weeks. I started in the summer semester of 2021. I've just been doing it part-time the entirety of the program. So it's been really nice. It's already here so fast. So yeah.
Yeah, it goes by fast, I'm sure. That's great, Devin. All right, so my second question for you all. What class has been your favorite so far in the program? And two-part question. What course are you looking forward to? Well, let me backtrack. For those of you that are taking courses this spring, what course are you looking forward to the most? Let's start with Lorenzo.
I'm not going to just say this because Dr. Shane Bachler is on the call, but all the marketing classes were my favorite. She taught me marketing 654. That was an amazing class. I learned so much about marketing, so much so that for one of my electives, I chose to do the international marketing study abroad, marketing 601. And I just absolutely loved that class with Dr. Chi-Chin Lee. It was just amazing to go out. We actually went out to Australia. We visited so many companies. I learned so much about business in Australia, how they view business, how they do business out in the Asia Pacific region, how they also see the US, how they interact with the US, how they're one of our partners. And if needed, we were also given a whole bunch of contacts. And given that I was an online student, it was great just to have one class where I was able to talk to my professor on a daily basis because it was an intense program there. But I also got to meet a whole bunch of individuals that I will know for the rest of my life and network with as well, which is very important, I think, in the MBA program. So marketing, all the marketing classes are phenomenal. Actually, all the classes are phenomenal, but marketing 654 and 601 were definitely my favorite.
Excellent. Thank you. Tina. And so also you'll be enrolled this spring, I'm guessing. So favorite class and class you're looking forward to the most next semester.
So my favorite class was the machine learning class that we had. We learned a lot more Python and things like that. And it was a lot more than what I learned in my programming class. So it was just like an added step to what I had already learned the previous semester. So that was nice. Some of the concepts were a little more challenging. So I found that really fun. And our semester project was writing code to land a rover on Mars. And if you messed up the code, you could see your rover fall over. So you knew it didn't land properly. So that was by far the best. And the professor that was teaching it, she was very responsive to emails that I had during the semester when I had problems doing things. And then the class that I'm looking forward to in the spring is the one on big data analytics. It's a lot more data science skills, using more of those coding things that I learned in my machine learning class. It just, from the description, it seems like it's gonna dive deeper into some of the libraries that I've already learned.
Excellent. Thank you. And Devin.
Yeah, so no spring semester, sorry. But my favorite class so far in the program has definitely been digital selling with Dr. P. And the reason why I found that course to be so just why it resonates so well with me is not only because like as an online course, it's very, very different. For perspective, basically he creates a unique case study that has to do with like you're working your way up from the very like talking to your manager all the way up to like the C-suite and the owners of an auto dealership. And it's a very unique case study. But the nice thing about it is that as marketers, usually your friend and foe, depends on who you ask, is the salesman, the sales team. And you pretty much have to put your thought and idea of like, what is it like to be on the selling side of things? And at the time I was working for a startup where I was doing sales mainly and some marketing. And we had secured the entire Academy Award season and their events as their main COVID app. And when I was in this class, it really helped me become a better salesman more than I did in my day job because I ended up having to do a sales pitch to the health director at Netflix. So his class literally helped me get that call way less intense and terrifying than it really was. So it's incredible, and it's a really good way to actually learn about how you actually have to present something to a higher up at your job.
That's amazing. Building those skills that translate into what you're going to do for a career, right? That's great. All right, next question. So what challenges have you had as an online graduate student, and what did you do to resolve them? I'm going to go backwards this time. Devin, we're going to start with you.
Yeah, that's a good one. So definitely on the side of just like being able to do time management, that's always been a challenge. But it is different once you get post undergrad and you're now in this graduate side, especially as someone like myself who is working full time. You know, how do you balance your job so you don't get burnt out when you have to do your schoolwork in the evening while still managing if you have a relationship, your friends, a social life, any activities to do, your health, all that. So it really is a little bit of a shock at first, but it kind of gets easy to like everyone knows their own limits and what they can feasibly accomplish. And I think another part of it too is that, you know, no matter who you are, at some point you probably had a good experience or a really bad experience when it comes to group projects. And when it's online, that's very difficult. I was fortunate not to have the kind of the COVID Zoom education semesters when I was an undergrad because I was already done at that point. But I mean, I feel like people who are now gone through that have a better perspective on how to facilitate that. But as an online student, as an adult and a professional, like it's not as easy to do that because sometimes my group members would be, hey, my kids go to sleep at this time. Meanwhile, I have a dog and a cat. I don't have children. So it's hard for me to kind of identify, but it's something you have to be mindful of. So it's definitely a challenge when you're in the online program.
Thank you. Tina.
So for me, it was the connection with the other students in my class that I found the most challenging. Because in undergrad, I was on campus and I had students that I could talk to and things like that, collaborate that way. But I don't have that as much as I did in undergrad. So a lot of our courses are really fast because they're only 10 weeks. So our classes, like students make group meetings so we can chat and like, oh, you had a problem with this, how did you resolve that, things like that, like just working together that way. I mean, it's still online, but like I know a few people do like study sessions and they'll get on Teams or Zoom or something and collaborate that way. And working with the professors, they're always very accommodating, especially me being a non-traditional student. Like I work all day, I have a family. So most of my schoolwork is done between the hours of 7 p.m. and midnight. And it's really interesting when you email the professor at 11, you don't think you're going to hear anything back. And you get one like 5 minutes later. So that's definitely something I had to work through.
Thanks, Tina. And Lorenzo.
Yeah, similar to Tina, I felt that I'm a very social person when I want to be a very social person, and I felt like I really wanted to be a very social person in the MBA program. So all of my classes, I really wanted to interact with everyone in person, and it was a little bit tough because I actually started during COVID. So during 2020 was when I started, and we couldn't really meet up together. So there was that. But then it's been really interesting to kind of transition out of it. And so transitioning out of it has made it a whole lot easier, because the other thing is that my company is based out of Chicago. So I'm basically in Chicago 6 to 12 times a year. So it's been really good that every single time that I've had a work event, I've also coordinated something with either my professor or another, one of my peers, and we've been able to get together. We've been able to do happy hours. We've been able to do just meet up on campus, because it was really interesting for me that I've never been on campus, and in 2020 I couldn't go to campus. So it was great in 2021 when I was allowed to go into the De La Vega Center and just witness that and see that. So that was probably one of the most difficult portions of it. And then the things that made it a whole lot better were, I think, that Yellow Dig, one of the apps that they use on in our courses, was really good because it allowed us to basically interact with everyone, and that was really awesome and amazing. That I love that tool. So
That's great. Thank you. Online, but not alone, right? So final question for you all, and probably the most important for this group that we have with us tonight. What advice do you have for students who are just starting out this upcoming semester? So let's start with Devin.
Yeah, so regardless of what you're at in the semester and everything, I think pretty much the best piece of advice I could have is to make sure that you still find time to see what is the long-term goal and what is the short-term goal for yourself. One of the things I learned during my undergrad was that if you don't really celebrate the small wins, it's easy to lose sight of your focus, and you can easily get bogged down when you have just stress from class and work and whatever else might be piling down on you. And so one way that I kind of found that way was like, you know what? I'm really struggling to study for this one class I absolutely do not want to study for. How about if I try and do a little bit of studying this week? And if I get that hour, then you know what? I'm going to treat myself to, I don't know, Taco Bell, for example. But things like that just helps you kind of just give that positive reinforcement on yourself. And after a while, you can kind of find a way to just, it becomes a habit and you lose sense of like, oh yeah, why was I stressing about this? But in the short term, college goes really fast, and you might be like a senior and then you're thinking, oh, what am I doing? So definitely just kind of keep track on what you want in the short term, but also that long term.
That's great. Thank you. Tina.
So I would say, like, because if you register for classes, you know when they're going to be and what they're going to be about. And professors are good at opening them early. So just having good time management once the semester does start. Because like I said, I have a family and a full-time job that if I don't plan out my whole semester before it starts, I will lose sight of what I need to do when I need to do it. So that's the first thing that I do, is make sure I'm not doing too much in the day, that I'm, like Devin was saying, have time for yourself. Like I want to get my schoolwork done Monday through Friday, so I have the weekend to spend with my family. So if you can manage your time well, it will go by fast.
Thank you. And Lorenzo.
I think that Tina nailed it there. The schedule is like everything when it comes to being in a MBA program, an online program, or it just in general, just going to school. Your schedule is your most important and tool that you have. So I myself have a planner, a yearly planner that I get every year, and so every week I go through it and I make sure that I don't have too much stuff going on that week, for school, for work, and for my family. I do have two small children as well. And a full-time job, and then the school. So every single 3 hours that you have, as far as a class is concerned, I would say that you have to at least have 12 hours per week that you have to study for if you want to get an A, because it is very difficult and tough. There's a lot of material coming at you, so you just know that 12 hours is about the right amount of time that you have to have. So for me, every single week that I had school during those 8 weeks, I made sure that I had nothing big planned. And if I did have something planned, I reached out to my advisor and said, you know what, I'm not going to be able to finish in May of 2023. I'm going to have to finish in the winter of 2023, in December of 2023, because work all of a sudden put this one course for me that is going to be so much more difficult, and I don't want to set myself up for failure, because I'm not just evaluated at school, but I'm also evaluated through work, because they're looking at me like, how's your MBA program going, and where are you at here, and why do you have to do this? But when you can relay that information of, I have to move my schedule so I'm successful, everyone is fully aware and very supportive of you as well. So I would say make sure that you get your schedule down pat, for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you. So we do have a couple minutes left in the panel portion of this evening's event. If any of our attendees have questions that they would like to ask our panelists, please feel free to come off of mute and ask those questions, or type them into the chat, or raise your hand. We can get through some of those now. Yes, is it Andre? Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did pronounce that correctly. Thank you.
Excellent.
My question is for Tina. Prior to you entering the Masters of Data Analytics program, did you have any previous background in any coding or web development? And if so, how did that play into how you were working within the context of this program?
So, as I said earlier, I did my undergrad at NIU, and I was an OMIS major. So there was one class I took. It was a predictive analytics class where I had to learn R for the first 10 weeks of the semester. And that class was my most challenging class that I had, because I had no experience prior to that class. The professor was great. He walked you through it, and if you didn't understand it, he was more than willing to help you. And then once I got into the MSBA program, you don't really learn as much R, but you learn Python. And then you also, a lot of the differences between the two are just like syntax. So you might use a comma instead of a colon, or a comma instead of a parenthesis, something like that. And I still am learning, because there's so much to learn within code, that it's a very continuous process. And I think that's one of the reasons I really enjoy my program, is because I'm constantly learning throughout the whole thing. And I know there's going to be something else after that I can learn as well. I hope that answered your question.
Well, it did. Thank you very much.
Not necessarily a question, but we do have a comment in the chat from Dustin, who mentioned being on campus and having access to the amenities like the De La Vega Innovation Lab is something that they think they've been taking for granted. I believe you mentioned that, Lorenzo. A question we have from Ashley. Are you currently working in digital marketing or marketing in general?
Assume that's for me.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've been working for like the last. So as soon as I started the program, I actually got that sales and marketing job, and then I left that company a year later. And I've been the last year and a half with a nonprofit association in the life sciences and biotech events, conferences, and basically membership association. So essentially, what I do a lot more communications, but I handle a lot of our paid advertisements, display ads. I'm running membership campaigns right now. And so what's really helped me from like the and I use courses and everything and implementing that into my day job is more so just on really becoming well versed on how to stay on top of creating like content marketing plans as they evolve, especially when I have a very, very niche audience, basically all PhD level scientists and everything. And it's actually part of a little preview for Jacqueline for what my paper's about that I'm spending tomorrow. I talk a lot of science, even though I have a science background. We have scientists on staff to explain the stuff that I have to communicate to scientists. Because if you say the wrong thing, it can make them have a meltdown. It's happened. And sometimes AI, like ChatGPT, stuff like that, has helped me be able to break down and summarize things so I can actually save time when someone's out of office and I can't ask the scientists on staff. So stuff like that has really helped that I've found through the coursework and helped kind of filter into my day job.
We have a hand up from Vicky.
Hi, yes, I'm interested in a perspective. I'm not sure who may have the best insight, so the question is just open-ended. I'm interested in the MBA or online MBA, trying to determine maybe if in person and committing with the meeting up with groups is a better fit for me versus the fully online. So if either of the members have comments on that, I think I'm kind of struggling with determining which way is going to best fit with a full-time job and children, and then trying to complete coursework. So just curious if any of you had that conversation with yourselves and came up with some insight.
So-
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was just gonna say that I was also considering doing the MBA and MIS program. Both would have been on campus in DeKalb. Like I'm on campus every week because I'm a GA, but my learning style personally, online works better for me. It fits better into my life and the way that I learn. I learn better by watching a video and watching them do it. Whereas in person, it's just a different dynamic, at least for me.
Thank you. Lorenzo, did you have some insight as well? It looked like you nodded a little.
Yeah, so I was stuck in the same exact position that you were because my children, they're really small. I wanted to do in person. However, as I mentioned before, I knew that I was really close to a promotion, and that promotion, I didn't want to hinder myself and just say, I'm doing this MBA program. I didn't want to speed it up either because I love learning, and two courses for me was way too much. So I knew that I could only do one course per semester. So I wanted to do that. And then as Tina mentioned, my learning style was a whole lot better in online because you could pause and rewind and start back over again versus when you're in person. It sometimes the professor's coming at you with all kinds of information and you missed a few different things. Like I've even we rewatched the videos and have seen that I've missed a whole bunch of stuff. So it was great for me to just go back and pause and view again. So
Thank you. That's very, very, very helpful.
I think Jetta was next with her hand up.
Hi. Yes, sorry. I also have a question for Tina, kind of going off the same kind of question. from the first person that had asked, but going to along the lines of the Python class that you had taken, because I know you said you didn't really have that much coding experience. Would you say that class, specifically Python related, was difficult in learning, or would you say it was kind of like an intro class?
So that class is an intro class. So he will teach you every little thing that you need to know.
Okay.
It's like a prereq for other classes further down the line. So
Mhm.
it's very user friendly, I will say. Like he starts off with basic syntax things and things like that, and then it starts getting a little harder, but it builds on itself.
I think we have time for one more question. So it looks like Seth has their hand up.
Yes, this question's for anybody on the panel. I am just curious to know, I know this is a very business-oriented program, but I just want to know curiosity factors for anybody if you, like this is applicable to other facets of industries, right? Like governmental or like you said, nonprofit. So what's the kind of feel for that?
I feel that it is applicable to everyone because there's a lot of leadership classes, and in every facet of life, you have to talk to other folks, whether they report up to you or you collaborate with them. And there's just so many manager courses that you take, leadership courses that you take that help you interact with other folks and kind of help lead them to success, regardless of if the outcome is to be profitable or to be in a nonprofit or to get a certain policy in place in the government. I know that my sister works in government and I have helped her through a lot of those leadership skills that I learned at NIU, and she's been really grateful for that. So I think it translates for sure.
Just to tack onto that, the exact reason why I chose marketing after being an engineer is because I can go to any type of industry versus biomedical engineering. Can't really get a job in, like, I don't know, shoe design. So it's totally applicable to everything. And that's why I love it so much. It's way easier for you to pivot, and especially as more and more resources and learning opportunities come available online and everything like that. It's easier for you to just have the base knowledge of what you need and being able to translate that and your skills and make yourself a valuable position worth hiring at any other type of facet of industry.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what both of them said. I use a lot of analysis in my job, planning and forecasting and things like that, that I use several of the techniques and things from my classes. So I can translate it to almost any type of business.
Excellent. Thanks, you all. Let's give a big virtual round of applause for our excellent student panelists this evening. So before we transition to the breakout rooms, Russ, did you want to chat for a minute about the passport credit?
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here. If you are a current College of Business student and you're here for wonderful information, because we know you're all going to pursue higher education after your undergrad, but also for business passport credit, I am going to attach the PDF into the chat right now.
You muted yourself, Russ.
Sorry. Wrong button. Okay. Thank you. You should be able to click on that, and then it'll give you the QR code to be able to scan that today, like right now, later. It does expire, so make sure you do that within like the half hour after this event. It's in there. If for some reason you can't get access, you can't get that one, just email Anna. She'll put it in contact with me and we'll get you credit for it. So don't really stress about that much. But yes, thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Russ. So now we'll go on and transition into breakout rooms. So you should soon be presented with a list of those rooms. Go on and click on the room for the program that you're interested in. Important to note, we will wrap up the event in these rooms. Again, I will hang back here in this main room for a while, afterwards. So if you have questions, feel free to come back in here. Our student panelists will also be joining the breakout session for the program that they're in. So if you have any lingering questions for them, there will certainly be time for that in the breakout rooms as well. So have fun and head into your breakout rooms.